TuneIn is the audio platform with something for everyone. News.
In order to secure convictions in a court of law, it is essential that we conclusively.
Sports.
Got clock at 4. Doncic. The step back 3. You bet.
Music.
You set my world on fire. Yes,
and even podcasts. Whatever you love, hear it right here on TuneIn. Go to TuneIn.com or download the TuneIn app to start listening.
Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Start your summer road trip at Midas and get up to $30 off your next repair service. Plus, get a free closer look vehicle check to make sure you're road trip ready. So if you need a brake service, an alignment check, or tune-up, hit up Midas for up to $30 off. For more details, request your appointment at Midas.com.
Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I wish I could be in the living room of somebody who's listening to this show.
Jeff Lutz.
You think they're listening in their living room?
And maybe.
It's not 1943.
It's a strange world.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Stand by for action.
All right, we are back. Hour number 2, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio. Bob Lutz, Jeff Lutz. Max Power Producing Engineering, the IHOP hotline, 869-1240. Speaking of IHOP, they are bringing back their popular 2x2x2 breakfast combo for a discounted price. That started today. You can enjoy their world-famous pancakes, eggs, bacon, and sausage all summer long for a reduced price at IHOP. All right, we're going to do the states We're
doing that right now?
No. When I say we're doing it.
You said we're going to do, and then...
We're going to do,
and
later.
Then,
at the normal time,
yeah, and then
25.
And then when you ended the last segment, you said you'll find out what our draft is next.
Yeah.
So you're misleading the listeners.
325, the states we'd prefer to live in if we didn't live in Kansas. So Kansas is off the board because whoever picked Kansas would win because we're gonna vote for our state. Most people are. What do you mean you guess? You wouldn't vote for Kansas?
I don't think that would be like
a state you'd rather. You don't have to tell me what the state
I don't think
is.
That'd be an automatic win.
Is there a state you'd rather live in?
That's not what we're
Kansas?
talking about.
I'm asking you now.
No, I'm not going to answer that because that's not.
That means yes.
That wasn't the discussion.
And let me tell you, Kansas.
The discussion was: is Kansas an automatic win?
Let me tell you something right here and now, Kansans. There's nowhere I'd rather live.
That's great.
Than the beautiful state of Kansas.
I didn't say that's not the case for me. I'm just not going to answer.
You're not willing to say it.
I'm not going to answer the question.
Meanwhile, I'm willing to say it.
I'm willing to say it. I'm just not going to answer the question.
Say it.
Nah.
See, you're not willing to say it.
I'm not.
You don't want to say that you would not live anywhere else than Kansas.
No, because I don't like being roped into a question.
You know what that means to the people?
That I stand my ground.
You don't want to live here. And you know what the people would say?
Have I ever moved?
I'll help you move.
Have I ever moved?
Yes.
When?
You went to Ohio for a year.
And when I was 17. Let's just relax.
Have I ever lived outside of the state of Kansas?
Oh, you went to Ohio for a year.
No, I didn't.
I don't know what you did.
No. I lived here. 2 years in Winfield. 17 years in Derby. And now 50 years. 50 in Wichita, Kansas.
Great. I'm only 9 behind you.
No, you got to eliminate the year.
No, I don't.
You didn't live here then.
I didn't even live there for a whole year.
You lived there for a year. You moved in the summer and came back the following summer.
Close enough.
And you couldn't have hightailed it back here quicker.
I don't know what prompted that decision. I really don't know. Seemed like an emotional decision. I don't know. It's tough.
You wanted to experience living in Ohio with your mother for a year.
Yeah, but did that mean I didn't want to live with her anymore? I don't think that's the case. or I didn't.
Oh, you don't know why you came back? Is that what?
No, I'm trying to figure. It's not
what decision are you talking
that
about?
decision. I'm just
of coming back.
It's not that I didn't want to come back. It's that did I want to leave? Like what was really going on there?
Did your head ever just calm down a little?
Why do you ask me that? Of course it doesn't.
And then do you not worry about things?
No, I just would like to know. I mean, I remember.
Well, you know, you're the person who did it.
I remember making the decision, telling my mom, but I was still like, I don't know.
Well, I think we all knew you'd come back and graduate here at North High. I don't think that was ever up for grabs.
Yeah, I don't think I should have graduated from Hilliard-Davidson High School.
That would have been awful. Can you imagine being a graduate of Hilliard-Davidson right now?
Me and Alexa Bliss, both.
Yeah, but what would you be doing in Hilliard?
I don't know. I probably would have come back eventually.
And as a graduate of Hilliard?
Or maybe I would have gotten into Ohio State and gone there. I don't know.
Gotten into Ohio State?
Yeah.
With those grades?
I didn't get in as an out-of-stater.
Got into Wichita State.
I definitely would have gotten into Ohio State if I had stayed academically in Hilliard, Ohio.
You wouldn't have?
No.
Didn't go well academically.
It did not.
Well, that's terrible.
I was on probation from athletics.
And why did I know that?
Why would I tell you that?
Well, didn't your mother tell me that?
I don't know that I told her.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you would have been on probation here, I would have known it.
No, you wouldn't have. You get one in athletics or extracurricular activities. You get one time to say, I'm going to keep playing. But the next time, you're done.
Well, I would have stormed the State House.
I would have never given you that information.
I would have put you away, my friend.
Well, I kept playing knowing that was going to be it. So why not keep playing?
Well, the whole thing makes me sick.
Why?
That you were able to keep playing. I would have suspended you on the spot.
Well, I remember that conversation too. The coach was like, "Do you want to keep playing?" I was like, "Well, yeah." And he's like, "Yeah, I think that's the right decision." So we kept moving on. We won a lot of ball games.
You didn't win a lot of ball games.
Won some ball games.
Yeah, it's a terrible season.
We won 11 ball games.
Out of how many?
28.
You were 11-17.
Yes.
Meanwhile, that year, what happened at North?
I don't remember. Why don't you?
They played in the state tournament.
State semifinals.
And I covered it up at Hogland Stadium in Lawrence.
You think we would have won if I was there, or would we have been worse?
Well, why would you have been worse?
Yeah, because of my negative energy that you felt I brought to a team.
I never felt you brought negative energy.
The flash and sizzle that you said did not exist at North that year.
What?
You wrote something about North has no flash and no sizzle. And then the next year I returned, and Eddie Diaz was a freshman, our shortstop, and we called ourselves Flash and Sizzle.
I don't recall saying you had no flash or sizzle.
That's what you wrote in the Eagle about that North team.
Well, they had a lot of flash.
No, they had no flash because I wasn't there. They had just guys. I mean, Leighton Murlaw, Brian Rodriguez, Randy Griffiths. They had just guys,
Yeah, they made it to the state tournament with those guys.
Yeah, it was a good team. We had predicted that, too, when we were freshmen. Like, look at how good we're going to be in 2 years with all these guys.
But fortunately, it came to fruition.
And I wasn't part of it.
I did play in a state tournament my senior year. I have that over you.
You sure?
Of course.
You pitched?
Yes.
And lost?
We lost in this third place game.
That's embarrassing.
What do you mean it's embarrassing?
You didn't pitch the first round?
No.
And you won, and you didn't pitch the second round. They saved you for the third place game?
Yeah, for the championship game.
Were you going to pitch the championship game? Well, we got to get there first.
Of course I was.
You got to get there first. They didn't believe in you.
I pitched in the regional championship game.
That's big. Would you consider yourself the ace of the staff?
No. Wayne Gifford was the ace of the staff.
So he pitched the opener in state.
Against Wyandotte.
And beat
who I could have beat with my left arm.
That's impressive.
No offense to Wayne, we shouldn't have started him in that game.
That's your best friend. And he was the ace. That's amazing. I don't know that I knew that.
Well, why wouldn't you know it?
I don't know that I did.
Well, we've talked about it numerous times.
But he was he was better than you?
Yeah, but we had a really good pitching staff.
Who was the guy who started the semifinal
Tony
game?
Tubbs, who was okay.
And
lost. He got blistered by Wichita Southeast in the semifinal.
Well, to be fair, you would have also.
No, I would have shut the door on
that. That was a heck of a team.
They were good, and they won the championship. But I would have shut them down.
Well, then you need to say,
I was used to pitching against City League teams. I pitched against Carroll. I pitched against South. Bring them on.
Well,
That's
then you
how
needed to tell Coach, and you needed to tell Tubby, or whatever his name was, that
Tony Tubbs.
Hey, I got this, Tone. I'm going to go, and if we make it to the championship, all hands on deck, you might get an inning.
And you know what's really weird? I remember some things about my senior year. Some. Not a lot, honestly. Not a lot. I don't remember anything about my junior year of baseball.
I don't know.
I don't. It's weird.
Are you sure you were on varsity?
Yes, of course. I was on varsity as a sophomore.
Same.
But I don't remember anything.
But they let me hit. How many at-bats did you have at Derby?
What do you mean at bats? A bunch.
I mean,
because in those days there was no DH.
But they let you hit?
Well, sure they didn't have a DH. Did you just hear me?
But they'd let you hit. How many hits do you think you had at Derby?
Probably 5 or 6.
In 3 years?
Well, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. That's good, Ben.
Maybe more. I don't remember. But I'll tell you what I do remember. Did you hear a noise upstairs?
There's a little thump. It wasn't upstairs. It was outside.
Yeah, what's going on up there?
I don't know.
Listen. If you're trying to get into my house right now, don't.
Did that alarm you? I wasn't that alarmed by it.
Well, you should be alarmed.
So you always batted ninth, I assume.
I don't remember. I'd have to say yes, most likely, but I do not remember.
When Wayne Gifford pitched, did he bat ninth?
Yes, he was a terrible hitter.
That's too bad.
We both became terrible hitters. We focused our energies on pitching.
I became a terrible pitcher.
I was a very good hitter as a child growing up. Very good. Always in the middle of the lineup. I could carry a team offensively.
When you
listen to me,
when you had to go to me
over that,
when you had to go to me as a starting pitcher, what were your feelings?
We're playing a poor team, and maybe
I pitched some pretty good games,
and maybe we're playing a poor team. I got to save arms.
No, you pitched me in some games that mattered.
No,
that one game I believe where we were at the hotel that had the free Coke.
Huh?
The vending machine was open.
In Russell?
Was that Russell? I don't think so. It might have been.
You pitched against a terrible team.
No, they were good. I think they beat us like 2-1.
No. Nah.
It wasn't in Russell, but was Russell where the free Coke
I don't remember. I didn't get into all that. Let me just put it this way. I wasn't drinking Coke at the time.
Well, Jack.
What do you mean, Jack?
Jack and Coke. That's one of your go-tos.
I don't agree.
I do.
No, I don't drink Jack and Coke.
Yeah, you
Crown
did.
and Coke.
Whatever. Same diff.
No, it's not.
Crown's
Jack. A different bourbon.
Same drink.
Jack's
though.
whiskey.
I don't know any of that. I don't know
well, that's because you don't
drink.
Study.
That's correct. No, I'm not going to study.
You don't look into
potent potables.
There's whiskey and there's bourbon.
Are they different?
Yes.
Like, that's the classification, though? Like, whiskey is more than just whiskey, though, right? There are other things involved in whiskey. There are
you
other.
Sound like a blithering, you know what?
But I'm just saying, is whiskey only whiskey?
Yes.
Or there are other drinks that are classified as whiskey? Like, you're not going to call bourbon vodka. Vodka's not bourbon. Is
you
whiskey,
don't call bourbon whiskey.
Is only whiskey whiskey?
Yes.
So vodka's not whiskey?
Of course not.
So what is whiskey?
It's whiskey.
That's it?
Yes.
There's only one whiskey, and it's whiskey.
Right.
Okay.
Why are you making a big deal of this?
I don't know the answer to these questions. I do not drink, and I certainly don't drink whiskey. What is scotch?
It's a different item.
Is that Is it its own thing?
Yes.
Or is it whiskey?
No, it's Scotch whiskey.
Well, then it's whiskey. So you were wrong.
Scotch isn't whiskey.
You just said it was.
It's Scotch whiskey.
I don't think that's right.
Gin is gin.
Gin is whiskey.
No, it isn't.
What drinks are whiskey?
You couldn't sound more uninformed. It is amazing what you're willing to let this audience in on.
How do you say I'm uninformed when I'm literally asking questions to become informed?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not uninformed if I'm asking questions.
I don't get it. I'll tell you this right now. The only hard liquor I will ever drink in my life again is Crown.
Here's types of whiskey. Bourbon is whiskey.
It's a variation.
You have Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah.
You have Canadian. You have Irish.
I used to like Canadian Mist back in the day.
That's like ginger ale.
It's kind of a lesser.
It's not even alcohol.
Yeah, it is. Of course it is.
I don't think it is.
Of course it is.
Canadian Mist?
Yes.
That sounds almost like water to me.
No, it's misty, but it's good.
Canadian Mist is a brand of blended Canadian whiskey.
Right.
Produced by the Cesaric Company.
Right, up in Canada.
Collingwood.
That's why they call it Doodle, no.
40% alcohol by volume. I don't know what that means.
That means it's an alcoholic beverage.
I know, but what is it?
It's a liquor.
Why is it by volume?
Because by volume, by volume, they're measuring the volume.
Volume.
40% by volume.
Why not just 40%?
No, we don't do it that way. We want to include the term volume.
Aren't all fluids by volume?
Let me just say this. Volume is the epitome of...
Say volume.
Volume is the epitome...
It's not volume. It's volume.
Volume.
And it's volume.
Volume is the epitome of your alcoholic beverage. You check the label, you see what volume it has.
By volume. Volume.
Right.
Why isn't it just 40% alcohol?
No, we don't.
We have to sound so sophisticated
by volume.
in our drinking because that's such a sophisticated activity. And I'm going to put on my lapel and I'm going to wear my sport coat to the bar and I'm going to have a shot of whiskey because I'm so sophisticated and I'm going to measure it by volume.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better.
It's a bunch of garbage.
You couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what I do when I have a drink.
You've never worn a lapel in your life.
I measure it by
What
volume.
is a lapel?
You don't even know what a lapel is.
I think it's like your collar.
It's like your jacket collar.
Yeah, exactly.
Not your shirt collar.
It could be both.
All right. It's probably time for a break because you ruined that segment.
I did?
Yes.
I thought that was one of our...
You couldn't have sounded less informed.
I'm not trying to be informed. I'm trying to find out. So in the future, when this never comes up again, I can be informed.
We will be back. We'll play the Bob and Jeff draft. States we would choose to live in, which I would never do other than Kansas. Jeff would. So we'll get that list of 8 each. That's next.
TuneIn is the audio platform with something for everyone. News.
In order to secure convictions in a court of law, it is essential that we conclusively...
Sports.
Shot clock at 4. Doncic. The step back 3. You bet.
Music.
You set my world on fire. Yes,
and even podcasts. Whatever you love, hear it right here on TuneIn. Go to TuneIn.com or download the TuneIn app to start listening.
Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app to get free delivery on your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Start your summer road trip at Midas and get up to $30 off your next repair service. Plus, get a free closer look vehicle check to make sure you're road trip ready. So if you need a brake service, an alignment check, or tune-up, hit up Midas for up to $30 off. For more details, request your appointment at Midas.com.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
All right, we're going to play a game we call the Bob and Jeff Draft. We each pick 8 in this category, states that we would choose to live in if we couldn't live in Kansas. Max is going to judge it. Then we'll put it out on Twitter and see what everyone thinks. Go ahead and flip the coin. Max, let's hit the music. Here we go.
What do you call?
I like it. Tails.
It's tails. What do you want?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I think this is easily the number one.
Well, no kidding.
Hawaii.
But you got to consider the cost of living.
Well, I don't know. I got $1 million in my pocket.
Well,
What are you picking?
Well, I'm just going to go, and I'm going to stick with my basic theme here, I think. Just states I want to live in.
Well, yeah, that's the category.
Not that necessarily that a whole bunch of people would want to live in, but I got Montana, number one.
I don't think you'd last a minute in Montana.
Oh, I would just saddle up, and you have no idea what I'd be capable
You'd be
of.
so... Go ahead. Next.
And I'll go California next.
Trying to get Max's vote.
Well, I
That's
gotta have a balance, you know. And I'm not necessarily saying I'd like to live in Southern California, but there's some other nice parts of California.
All right, we're filling up the West here. I'll pick Arizona.
No one wants to live there. It's 2,000 degrees.
New thing out called air conditioning.
Yeah, well, never step outside. That's a way to live.
Colorado. I think this baby's done. Look at you. You can't come up with one now.
Yeah, I've got the greatest heat I'll ever experience and altitude that will make me sick constantly. What a time.
You're struggling.
No, I know I'm going to lose this because I don't want to live in Colorado or Arizona, but people are going to look at those states and be like, oh, everyone wants to live there. I'm going to vote for that because I'm a moron. No names
This is
mentioned.
what you do when you lash out. When you know you're defeated.
I'm going to go with North Carolina.
Not bad.
Beautiful state.
And
the great state of New York.
Really? That surprises me.
Not necessarily New York City, but, you know, up there.
Where else would you want to live in New York?
Upstate.
Really?
Syracuse.
You know how cold it gets in upstate New York?
Low state, then. Downstate.
Well, that's New York City.
There's no other part of the state?
My next two, I'll stay in the West for this one. It has everything. Utah.
Yeah, snow.
And
into May.
My next state would be, I get that now it's getting a little bit tougher. New Mexico.
Well, you got the four corners covered. I'm going to go Maine.
All right, Maine. You're going back east now.
Yeah, I'm an eastern kind of guy. Maine and
I've never seen you struggle like this.
Well, there's a lot of places that I like.
I've never
and I don't know how to necessarily narrow them down. Because I want to live in a state that I probably won't even vote for because it won't give me any parts of the vote. I'm going to go into the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, that was going to be my next pick. So that's a nice pick.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pick.
All right. I will pick Illinois.
Does anyone really want to live in Illinois?
Chicago would be an amazing place to live.
If you're going to live in Illinois, why would you live in Chicago?
Because I love Chicago.
You wouldn't last a second in
I love
Chicago.
big cities.
Trying to get on sports radio in Chicago, they'd boot you off
They'd
the
welcome me in. I could get on sports radio almost anywhere in the country.
Now, I think that's true for me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My 7th state to live in would be Florida.
Good luck. Try opening a book. 7 and 8 for me are going to.
This is just I'm swamping you.
No, it's if you want to live in one part of the country, yeah, then you're swamping me. I'm going to go with Alaska. Get away from everybody. And my last state, a beautiful, beautiful state that we drove through on our way to New York City, and that would be Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I like Pennsylvania.
I loved Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you love about it?
The scenery was just fantastic. The hills.
What'd you love about it?
I just told you. Why didn't I pick Georgia? I like driving through Georgia too. And all those states.
I like Georgia. Savannah, that area. I will pick Georgia.
To close it out?
To close it out. Your 8 states in which you'd live, if you didn't live in Kansas, are
Montana, California, North Carolina, New York, Maine, Tennessee, Alaska, and Pennsylvania.
My 8 are Hawaii, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, Illinois, Florida, and Georgia.
Extremely unimaginative
Let's
list.
bring in Max and get his thoughts. You'll go far with him on California.
Here's some states I didn't pick. I didn't pick Ohio. I didn't pick Indiana, which is where I hope to retire to.
Really?
Yeah.
You hope to retire to Indiana.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Said no one ever.
Wyoming, I didn't pick. I didn't pick Idaho. I didn't pick Vermont.
I thought about Oregon.
And I didn't pick. Yeah, that's a good
Too
one.
much rain.
I didn't pick Rhode Island.
And I thought about Vermont. What do you think, Max? Which list do you feel like is the better list?
I lived in Vermont. There's 2 seasons, ice and mud. If you want to live,
well, nobody picked it.
Yeah, if you want to live in that lower part of New York, you have to live in like Bynum, which borders Connecticut. Jeff,
I love it.
You'd be about a half an hour. 30 miles from Midtown Manhattan in that place. Just in case.
Yeah, there you go. Which list is best, Max?
Well, I lived in Montana. I lived in California. He's in North Carolina, so he has another beach. Bob, you realize it gets to 100 in like early March in Arizona, and there's nothing but sand. Oh, God.
Yeah, I love Arizona.
Yeah, what a great state. That's why everyone wants to live in Arizona.
That's why everybody's moving to Arizona.
That's why every 93-year-old
state.
And the mosquitoes in Florida could carry you away. I don't know.
It's a pretty easy one.
I'd go with Jeff's list because he has more coastlines in his list, although Maine and Alaska.
Moronic.
Maine and Alaska is, oh my God. I can't even imagine living in Alaska.
Just a ridiculous assessment of the list, Max.
Well, he has more coastline in his.
Coastline?
Yes, you can get to.
Jeff hadn't been on a coastline.
You can get to the beach in California,
years.
North Carolina, New York, and Maine.
Oh boy, that New York coastline.
Not to mention Alaska.
I got Hawaii.
On top of the polar
Max.
bear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
that's
that
true.
is coastline.
Yeah, it's a rock in the middle of the Pacific.
I got Georgia. I got Florida. I got
about
Illinois, which is on the, there's coastline like crazy.
I've been to
in Chicago.
My sister and brother-in-law lived in Georgia, and I was there in the mid-'70s. No thanks. No thank you.
Yeah. I'll wipe the mat with Jeff with this list. There's no question about it. And Max, you need to. I don't know what you need to do. But there you go. There's the Bob and Jeff draft.
That was pretty easy.
Well, I'll kill you.
No, you won't. No one wants to live in Arizona. No one wants to live.
Have you noticed how the
wants to live in
population of
Utah.
Arizona has grown?
Yeah, for old
I was
people.
just at lunch with Dwayne Frazier. So what?
I was
Why
just
do you
at
think
lunch.
old people go there?
I was just at lunch
Dwayne
with
Frazier said he's going to retire and move to Arizona.
Retire.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
I'm going to live out the final years of my life doing nothing.
Yeah, and you'll be in Indiana with a Pacers team that finishes 12-70.
I'll be watching the Pacers.
And you'll be talking to your wife, go, why did we move here?
No,
Wait,
I'll
you're
be
not
like,
my wife?
I'm so glad we.
Wait,
who
you're
is
not
it?
my wife.
Who is it?
I'm
Wow.
just a random woman.
Oh, sweet. That's even more
Hey,
reason.
I don't even know you. Why am I in Indiana? Oh, that's
random
you in
women
40
follow me
years.
around in Indiana. I'm
No,
sold.
they're not following you. You're bothering them.
You know, Bob could live up in Flagstaff and up that area of Arizona where they actually have some seasons.
Yeah, if you're a loser.
Right, Flagstaff's awesome. But I'd live in Tucson if I moved to Arizona.
I've never seen a guy
Might as well
more
live in
doubt
Flagstaff or
himself.
I
Scottsdale.
don't care.
Scottsdale.
I don't care. I
When
stay
you said
inside.
I'd live in Tucson, there was this expression on your face that was like, I hope I didn't actually say that out loud.
Of course I'd live in Tucson.
There was an immense amount of doubt
I
that
had so much fun in my couple of times in Tucson. Can't even tell you.
okay,
It's an awesome city.
and you for you to live.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll take a break after that. Just annihilation.
Thank you.
We'll get it out on Twitter. We'll see what you think. Why do you laugh?
I just think you're adorable sometimes.
Why?
I just think that's cute.
What's cute
That
about
that
it?
you're this old man who's really invested in the Emmys. I just think that's cute.
I always have been, and when you say things like that, I think about Mike Furchess, who's going through some health issues right now, and we send out our very best to our very, very good friend Mike Furchess, who has enhanced our show now for, my goodness, 5 years or so, and I need to get over and see him, and I need to make time for that to happen. So, Mike, if you're listening, Jeff and I send you our very best. We hope that everything turns out well. And we hope to get you back here on the show where you belong very soon.
Absolutely. He's mentioned something about being discharged today potentially, but we haven't heard exactly everything that's going on, and that's not for us to say anyway. So
No.
when Mike wants
when Mike wants to share that, he's free to share it. And we just hope that he's back here on the Bob and Jeff show soon. Cardinals get the Marlins starting tonight in Miami. Royals off. They have Oakland, a 3-game set that starts on the West Coast tomorrow night. They won 1 against the Dodgers, lost yesterday, but the big thing out of yesterday's game was Mookie Betts being hit and on the hand, and he's going to be out a while.
Yeah, broke his
hand.
wrist.
Broke his hand, not his wrist. Which is really damaging to the Dodgers. They got a really good team. They can probably get by without him for a little bit, but that's so irritating to see one of the best players in the game out now sidelined because some clown can't throw a pitch.
Yeah, and Yamamoto's hurt too, so they
No
lost a
offense
couple guys.
to the Royals, but get
well,
the
it
ball.
wasn't one of their better guys.
Get the ball over the plate.
And you're right, it was his hand. Good job. Congratulations.
You continuously
Surprisingly, yes, right.
try to act like I don't follow baseball. I follow everything in baseball.
Yeah, me too.
No, you don't.
What don't I follow?
Let me just say this, and I'm going to say this without hesitation. I know more about baseball than
That
you
is
do.
the most insane thing. I can't believe you even think you believe that.
You go to a minor league park, the Wind Surge, and they're wonderful, and you score a game or two, and you think, well,
Right, I've learned a lot about baseball that you don't know.
give me an example. Give me a situation, and I'll score it right here.
Okay.
So you can't even come up with one.
I'm trying to think if we've had any interesting ones lately. A ball gets in the dirt. The runner is not going, but once it's in the dirt, he runs, but he's thrown out. Score that.
What now?
The ball's in the dirt. The runner is not going initially, but he goes once it's in the dirt. But he gets thrown out by the catcher, thrown to the shortstop. How do you?
He was out 2-6.
Is that's a caught stealing,
No,
right?
It's not a caught stealing.
Okay, well,
that's your example. Of course, that's not a caught stealing.
Thought I could get you there.
You thought that was going to get me?
Yeah, I thought that was going to get.
He wasn't trying to steal.
But
if anything, it would have been a pass ball had he been safe.
No, it was in the dirt.
Or a wild pitch. But it's not a caught stealing.
Right, but once he goes.
Did you call it a caught stealing?
Of course not. I know that it's not a caught.
You did, didn't you?
No.
That's why you're bringing it up.
No, I've never called it a caught stealing.
You called that a caught stealing.
No, I didn't.
And somebody had to come and correct you.
Incorrect. That is wrong.
Now it's all making sense.
No, that is wrong.
You got it wrong.
Why?
You thought I would get it wrong.
Are you not listening when I say that did not happen?
Well, what example do you want?
Just thought I could trick you.
What do you want to try? There's not a scoring situation you can come up with that I won't know the answer to.
All right.
Why are you looking on your phone? You're an official scorer. Surely you've had some.
I just want to see if there's anything out there. I'll have to look at my sheet. I don't have my sheet. Yeah, there's a sheet. Maybe.
Well, what do you got?
I'm gonna look at it. Here's a quiz for you.
These are
all videos. I don't like these.
I'll ace any quiz you can give me.
Here's the MLB.
All right, here we go. What do you got?
The MLB rule and case book.
All right, what is it?
I don't know.
Have you ever read the rule book?
Of course.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. I take it very seriously.
You've never read the rule book.
Of course I have. I want to be the best official scorer in the world.
Well, give me an example.
I'm trying to find something.
You can't trick me. Nobody can trick me. I got it.
Probably. The official scorer's casebook. Here we go.
Bring it. You're killing this radio show right now.
Well, it's hard to read.
You can't even think of a situation you've had as a scorer outside of the terrible one you just came up with, that you think could get me. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Official score. Now, this is not really for official scoring, but it's more for umpiring. Let's say there's an ambidextrous pitcher. Okay?
Yeah, he's got to declare.
He's facing can he change for the next batter?
Yes.
No.
Yes, he can.
He has to declare for the inning.
That's not true.
That's true.
You declare for the batter.
For the batter. Let's say the batter steps in the box, starts to hit right-handed. They bring in a right-handed pitcher, and he turns around to hit left-handed. Is that allowed?
No.
Yes. Of course
I didn't even hear what you said.
You're 0 for 2.
I think you're wrong on the ambidextrous thing.
You're 0 for 2. Do you have one you want to ask me?
Hold on.
My goodness.
A pitcher must visually indicate with which hand he will use to pitch prior to the start of a plate appearance. So you were wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
I just read it out of the MLB rulebook.
Next.
That's it.
You don't have anything else. Boy.
I'm going to read my case book tonight and come up with some stuff for you tomorrow.
I get tired of winning. Maybe that'll be the game tomorrow.
Okay.
Because you do have to have a game.
That's true.
So far, I just put this out. Oh, this is getting a lot of votes. Just put it out there. Our Bob and Jeff draft category, states we would choose to live in if we didn't live in Kansas. So far, one of the lists is doing 76%, the other 24%.
Interesting. I wonder which one it is.
Well, I don't want to say because people might then vote accordingly. It's my list. Mine's doing better.
It is? It's hard to believe.
That people just went up to 79%.
That people would want to live in Arizona or Utah.
Yeah, Utah's a great state.
No, it's not. The only time we went there was snowing and gross and slushy.
I spent 2 weeks there for the 2002 Olympics.
All it was is cold.
And I loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Snow covering every surface.
All right, tomorrow on the show, Maurice Evans will join us. He's the keynote speaker for the Wichita Sports Banquet coming up next week. Also, Wichita State volleyball coach Chris Lamb will join the show. And we'll have a game. All of that coming up tomorrow. The Bob and Jeff Show, KFH. Have a good night.
TuneIn is the audio platform with something for everyone. News.
In order to secure convictions in a court of law, it is essential that we conclusively.
Sports.
Shot clock at 4. Doncic. The step back 3. You bet.
Music.
You set my world on fire. Yes,
and even podcasts. Whatever you love, hear it right here on TuneIn. Go to TuneIn.com or download the TuneIn app to start listening.
Start your summer road trip at Midas and get up to $30 off your next repair service. Plus, get a free closer look vehicle check to make sure you're road trip ready. So if you need a brake service, an alignment check, or tune-up, hit up Midas for up to $30 off. For more details, request your appointment at Midas.com.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature. Whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes, nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With AllTrails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with AllTrails.